The Bold and the Beautiful Friday, September 5th recap. Ridge tells Taylor he can't marry her. The Bold and the Beautiful, B&B, recap for Friday, September 5th, reveals that Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., said he couldn't marry Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. So, heartbreak hit hard. At Forrester Creations, Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, acknowledged that Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, had problems in the past, including ones that affected her daughter. That said, Thomas was Ridge's son, so Brooke told Katie Logan, Heather Tom, that she wanted him to be happy. Of course, Katie worried about Thomas manipulating the situation and pushing Ridge to marry Taylor, so she was sure Brooke didn't want that. Once the discussion shifted to what happened in Italy, Brooke tried to have faith that Ridge would keep his promise and make things right. In the CEO office, Eric Forrester, John McCook, reunited with Thomas, so they addressed the topic of Ridge and Taylor's engagement. Thomas reflected on his own split from Paris Buckingham, Diamond White, and stressed the importance of his parents' reunion. After Thomas talked about the stability Ridge had found with Taylor, he pressured Eric to support their marriage right along with him. Naturally, Eric didn't look ready to abandon Team Brooke anytime soon. Thomas eventually interrupted Brooke and Katie's conversation in the design office, where he offered updates on Taylor and Ridge setting their wedding date tonight. As Thomas turned intimidating on Friday's B&B episode, he warned Brooke not to do anything to come between Ridge and Taylor ever again. At one of the Forrester Ghost houses, Taylor worked the family angle with Ridge and reminded him of Stephanie Forrester's, Susan Flannery, past support, too. Taylor mentioned her broken heart syndrome bringing her back home, but she gushed over Ridge healing her. Since Taylor saw no reason to wait on tying the knot, she was ready to get married as soon as tomorrow. Taylor shared a slow dance with Ridge, who looked more torn than ever as he recalled saving Brooke in Italy. Between that and being in Taylor's arms now, it was all too much. Ridge finally pulled away and admitted that he hated the thought of breaking Taylor's heart again. Unfortunately, Ridge indeed broke it moments later when he said he couldn't pick a date and couldn't marry Taylor. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Taylor has more drama ahead thanks to Ridge's terrible news, so stay tuned. CDL will have other sizzling Bold and the Beautiful spoilers, news and updates to check out, so make us your go-to B&B source. The Bold and the Beautiful Friday, September 5th recap. Ridge tells Taylor he can't marry her. Los Angeles has never been short of drama, but Friday's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful raised the stakes yet again. At the heart of the story stood Ridge Forrester, torn between loyalty, love, and the weight of truth. For weeks, Ridge and Taylor had danced around a possible reunion, building anticipation not only for themselves but also for their families. Fans were braced for wedding bells, but instead, they got heartbreak. The day began with Ridge struggling under the pressure of his emotions. On the surface, he appeared ready to commit to Taylor, who has always been his safe place and constant supporter. Yet behind his calm exterior, there lingered hesitation, an unshakable voice reminding him that his heart wasn't fully aligned with the path ahead. Taylor, glowing with hope and wearing the quiet joy of a woman who believed her dreams were finally coming true, had no idea that Ridge's mind was drifting elsewhere. The tension built slowly, like a storm brewing over the Forrester estate. Steffi and Thomas, ever the champions of their mother, encouraged Ridge to follow through, framing Taylor as the woman who would provide him peace and stability. Their words were heavy with the desperation of children who had long wanted their parents back together. To them, this wasn't just about Ridge and Taylor, it was about family, redemption, and rewriting history. But Ridge's silence gave him away. Even as Taylor looked into his eyes with unwavering trust, he seemed miles away. His mind wandered back to Brooke, the woman who, despite all the chaos, continued to pull at his heartstrings. Brooke represented passion, unpredictability, and a love that had survived decades of trials. Ridge had tried countless times to shut the door on that chapter, but every attempt only made it swing open again. Finally, the breaking point came. In a room heavy with expectation, Ridge drew a deep breath and told Taylor the words she least expected. He couldn't marry her. The confession landed like a thunderclap. For a moment, time seemed suspended. Taylor's face, once filled with joy, drained of color. She searched his eyes, desperate to find some glimmer of doubt, some hint that he didn't mean what he was saying. But Ridge's tone was steady, even if his heart was fractured. "I can't marry you, Taylor," he admitted softly, his voice carrying both sorrow and conviction. "It wouldn't be fair to you, to me, or to the love we've shared. My heart isn't where it should be." The fallout was immediate. Taylor's hurt was palpable. Her world, which had seemed so close to healing, shattered once more. Years of history, of waiting, of near misses and second chances, unraveled in front of her eyes. Steffi and Thomas reacted with outrage, their anger bubbling over as they demanded to know how Ridge could back out at the 11th hour. To them, his decision wasn't just a rejection of Taylor, but a betrayal of the family they had tried to rebuild. Ridge, however, stood firm. He explained that marrying Taylor out of obligation or fear would be worse than walking away. He owed her honesty, no matter how much it hurt in the moment. His words were not meant to diminish Taylor, but to honor the depth of what they had shared, and to acknowledge that his heart still belonged elsewhere. As the episode closed, the air was thick with heartbreak and unanswered questions. Taylor, stunned and devastated, retreated in silence, while Ridge stood in the ruins of yet another broken promise. The Forster family was once again fractured, and the road ahead promised more turbulence than resolution. Friday's episode was not about a wedding but about courage, the courage to face painful truths and the strength to accept them. Ridge's decision not only reshaped his relationship with Taylor but also reignited the eternal flame of his bond with Brooke. In true bold and the beautiful fashion, this was not an ending but a cliffhanger, setting the stage for explosive confrontations, shifting alliances, and the timeless question, can Ridge ever truly let go of Brooke?